The 2026 NBA Draft is shaping up to be one of the most loaded draft classes in recent history. AJ Dybantsa, Darryn Peterson, Cameron Boozer. These aren't just good prospects, these are potential franchise-changing superstars. And right now, several NBA teams are in an all-out race to the bottom to land one of these generational talents. We're talking about teams that have completely given up on this season. Today, we're breaking down the 5 NBA teams that are absolutely desperate to tank for the 2026 draft. And trust me, some of these situations are getting ugly. The Indiana Pacers might have the best excuse to tank in NBA history. After making the NBA Finals last season, star point guard Tyrese Haliburton suffered a torn Achilles in the finals, and the team lost Miles Turner to the Bucks in free agency. Without Haliburton, this team went from Eastern Conference champions to owners of the worst record in the NBA at 7-31. They just snapped a losing streak with a recent win, but they're still averaging just 110.8 points per game, which is the third worst offense in the league. Pascal Siakam is trying to hold things together, but this roster simply can't compete without their franchise point guard. But here's what makes this situation perfect for Indiana. They already have a young core that proved it could compete at the highest level. Once Haliburton returns next season, imagine adding someone like AJ Dybantsa or Darryn Peterson to that roster. That's an instant championship contender. The Pacers own their 2026 first-round pick outright, so every loss this season is actually helping them. This is textbook addition by subtraction, suffering through one lost season to potentially land a franchise-altering talent. This one hurts to watch. The Sacramento Kings are 8-29 with the worst net rating in the entire NBA at -11.7. Just 3 years ago, this team broke a 16-year playoff drought with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis leading the way. Now they're arguably the worst team in basketball. The Kings have lost 5 straight games by a combined 123 points, an average margin of defeat of over 24 points per game. Their defense is 28th in the league, and somehow the offense is even worse at dead last with a 108.0 offensive rating. Here's the thing that makes this tank so obvious. Sacramento has talent on paper. They have Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. But nothing is working, and advanced stats show they're even worse than their record indicates. With flattened lottery odds, the Kings aren't even guaranteed a top 4 pick despite all this suffering. But right now, if the lottery were held today, Sacramento would have a 40% chance of landing in the top 3. For a franchise that's been stuck in mediocrity, landing someone like Cameron Boozer or Darryn Peterson could completely change their trajectory. If you've been wondering whether you should hit that like button, now's the perfect time. Let's keep building this community together. The Wizards are in full tank mode, but they just did something that might derail their entire plan. Washington has gone 5-5 in their last 10 games, which is way better than expected for a team that was supposed to be competing for the worst record in the NBA. Then they made a blockbuster trade, sending CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert to Atlanta for Trae Young. This trade is fascinating because it probably cost them ping-pong balls in the lottery. Trae Young is going to win them more games down the stretch, which pushes them further away from the top odds. But here's why they made this move. The Wizards have young pieces like Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, and rookie Trey Johnson who's showing real star potential. Adding Trae Young gives them a proven all-star to build around, even if it means winning a few more games this season. The franchise is betting that pairing Young with their young core is more valuable than slightly better lottery odds. Still, this trade screams desperation to show fans they're trying to compete, even though this roster is nowhere near ready to make noise in the Eastern Conference. The Utah Jazz are in the most interesting position on this list. They're 13-24, which isn't as bad as the teams we've mentioned so far, but here's the kicker. Utah owes their 2026 first-round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder if it falls outside the top 8 in the lottery. This creates the perfect storm for intentional tanking. Every win this season actively hurts the Jazz's future. If the lottery balls don't bounce their way and they land outside the top 8, they lose their pick to Oklahoma City completely. So what did Utah do this offseason? They traded Colin Sexton, their third leading scorer, who averaged 18.4 points per game, to Charlotte for Jusuf Nurkic on an expiring contract. That move opened up more playing time for young guards and guaranteed fewer wins. The Jazz are starting multiple rookies and two-way players regularly, even when healthy players are available. There have been games where Lauri Markkanen and other veterans mysteriously sit with injuries that clear up the next week. Utah fans know exactly what's happening here. With the 2026 draft class being this stacked, and with the threat of losing their pick entirely, the Jazz are all in on the tank. It's not subtle, but it makes perfect sense from a team-building perspective. So here's my question for you. If you were running an NBA team in a lost season, would you tank for a generational prospect? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The Charlotte Hornets are 13-25, and while that's not the absolute worst record in the NBA, make no mistake, this team is tanking. They acquired Colin Sexton from the Jazz during the offseason, adding another scoring guard to a backcourt that already features plenty of offensive talent but zero defensive presence. The Hornets are in full development mode with rookies like Con Knoopel getting significant playing time and showing flashes of potential. With LaMelo Ball healthy, they have their franchise cornerstone, but the supporting cast around him is clearly built for the future, not for winning now. Charlotte has building blocks in LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, but this roster isn't built to win games right now. They're ranked 20th in points allowed per game, and their overall team defense remains a major weakness. The front office knows this team isn't competing for anything meaningful this season. So why not maximize their lottery odds? Imagine pairing someone like Darryn Peterson or Cameron Boozer with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. That's a young core that could compete in the Eastern Conference for years to come. Charlotte is playing the long game, and if they land a top 3 pick, this entire rebuild accelerates dramatically. The 2026 NBA draft features AJ Dybantsa, a 6'9" wing who can score from anywhere at BYU. Darryn Peterson, a 6'5" scoring guard at Kansas, who some scouts compare to Anthony Edwards. And Cameron Boozer at Duke, who's one of the most productive high school players we've ever seen. NBA executives are saying the top 5 in this class has historic star power. That's why teams are willing to endure historically bad seasons right now. The Pacers, Kings, Wizards, Jazz, and Hornets are all in various stages of tank mode, and the race to the bottom is only going to get more intense as we approach the trade deadline. It's brutal to watch if you're a fan of these teams, but if they land someone special in June, it'll all be worth it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you subscribe for more NBA analysis. We post videos every Monday and Friday breaking down everything happening around the league.